Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very senior and accomplished professional from California, USA, Elaine Lum MacDonald. Elaine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Elaine is the Chief Executive Officer of the Knowledge Impact Network. So, Elaine, before we talk about the Knowledge Impact Network, tell me a little bit about your own journey and what was your reason to move from the corporate sector to the social sector?
Sure. Happy to do that. I would say that when I first started my career, I was not thinking about ever entering the social impact sector. I'm almost embarrassed to say that because I have 3 daughters right now, and I know in this current generation, thinking about your impact and footprint in the world is, intricately entwined. And I think that's a wonderful thing. But back when I first started my career, that was not on my mind. I was a management consultant for Fortune 500 companies across the globe. Did that for a number of years and then wanted to get more operating experience and worked at a large consumer packaged goods company doing marketing for about 10 years. And so it really wasn't until I started having children that this evolution started happening, where I just started to build greater awareness about the world, state of education, the needs of communities, those that are underserved. It broadened my awareness. It was also a time where I decided to operate my own strategic marketing consulting firm to gain more flexibility and control in my daily life. And it was at that time that I came across an organization called HBS Community Partners, which is a program that inspires Harvard Business School alumni to provide pro bono consulting to nonprofits. And I did that. And it just really opened up my mind incredibly. I love consulting and I loved learning about the nonprofit sector in the world. I loved it so much that I decided to sort of run that organization for about 7 years and had a chance to meet with over 100 nonprofits across all different types of sectors, learn about their needs and issues, as well as meet really inspiring business leaders who, were really generously sharing, their skills and their talent, for social good.
Amazing.
So about then the pandemic hit, and it became more clear to me that there's a greater need for global cooperation and a need to think more broadly. And it was at that fortuitous time that I met the founders of Knowledge Impact Network, who are YPO leaders, who also had this vision of how can we collaborate and create a movement of leaders to really share their networks for good. And so I joined KIN, which is what we call it for short. It's the spirit with which we support our global family to create a global movement of purpose-driven leaders and social innovators working together to accelerate positive change.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So let's now talk of KIN, the Knowledge Impact Network. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing here.
Sure. I'll start first with the premise behind KIN, which is our knowledge, our skills, our experiences, our insights and connections are all unique and powerful assets. But at the same time, it's an intangible asset that's sort of locked in our own individual minds, right? It's an underutilized asset. So how can we unlock the challenge, and how do we share that? And if you look at models like Airbnb and Uber, they have found models where they could take underutilized assets and share it really effectively, their homes and cars. So Knowledge Impact Network is really about how do you take this, what I would argue is humanity's greatest underutilized asset, our knowledge, and really channel it for social good. And if you really think about it, knowledge is a sustainable asset. It could be recycled, repurposed, regenerated. It has a multiplier effect. And when you gift it, you don't lose it. You're not depleted from it.
Correct.
So absolutely. So we just with that concept, we created KIN, which is essentially a curated exchange of knowledge for social good. We identified leaders who are willing to generously share their knowledge. We call them knowledge partners. And we identify and vet social ventures. They could be for-profit or nonprofit, but they have made great impact and have the potential to do so much more. And we bring them together in a couple of knowledge exchange platforms, Catalyze sessions and circles. Catalyze sessions are 90-minute sort of fast and focused workshops where we have a group of 3 to 6 knowledge partners, leaders in a facilitated session working with a social venture on how to tackle a specific issue. And then at the end, each knowledge partner makes a knowledge pledge of some sort of follow-up action, a connection, an introduction that they're going to make for the social venture, a separate one-on-one meeting to go deeper, etc. And then we follow up and track the impact and the pledges. And then the Circles is our other online platform where we bring together social innovators and other interested individuals who want to commonly advance a specific cause and take action. And they exchange ideas, connections, and networks to kind of further move in that specific area.
Oh, amazing. And, you also mentioned that you're committed to harnessing the talents of the private sector to empower social enterprises. And you told me about the knowledge partners. Can you give me an example, without names, of course, of where you have actually implemented something interesting like this?
Sure. I'll give you an example of a Catalyze session that we ran just a few months ago with an organization that recruits and trains local Africans to basically empower them to help in rural underserved communities work on community projects determined by the local communities. And this organization was growing rapidly and wanted help with their partnership strategy. And so we assembled a group of knowledge partners, so current and former CEOs, a partner at a law firm, a professor at a leading business school university. They come together and work with a social venture on how to refine and shape and prioritize and realign its partnership goals. And it was just wonderful. Afterwards, the executive director had shared with me how wonderful it was to have these superstar advisors really help shape and help her think more boldly and bigger with confidence in a new direction. And we continue to stay in touch. And it's just really exciting to see how one 90-minute session is just a catalyst for so much change on a really strategic level.
Correct. Well said. When I was reading about you and KIN, Elaine, it was interesting to see that you work in following areas: core human needs, which are food, water, shelter, and health, education for the workforce readiness, and climate risk mitigation. Can you tell me a little bit about the work you're doing in each of these areas?
Sure. Happy to. Core human needs, and I know is a large but critical bucket. Recently, we ran a session for an organization called Share the Meal. It's an initiative of the UN World Food Program that is basically an app to encourage people to donate meals to those in need. It just takes 80 cents a day, really, to donate a meal. And they came to us with an interest in getting help and how they can better leverage e-commerce partners and payment platforms to really kind of facilitate the usage of this app. And so again, we help them think through that strategy. In educating for workforce readiness, we worked with a nonprofit called Education for Employment, which is the leading nonprofit in the Middle East that helps train youth on the skills they need for the jobs of tomorrow. And we supported them with a strategic plan and process. And then under mitigating climate change, we worked with an impact-oriented for-profit marketplace for sustainable fashion called Stay, and really help them think about, for their next round of funding, how to refine their pitch such that their business model, the value proposition, and their metrics are just more clear. So we work with organizations across the globe, different markets in these impact sectors.
Interesting. And when you talk about the knowledge partners and the social ventures, and you did do this 90-minute session, What is the process you follow to link knowledge partners with social partners, social ventures?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a special process. It's a little bit of a secret sauce in terms of we really interview and vet everybody. So with the knowledge partners as well as the social venture partners, they apply. We get to understand them, meet them, know their specific needs, their specific skills and areas of expertise, and then we have a selection committee internally that does the matching to find the right fit.
So would I be right in assuming that a knowledge partner is like a mentor, or not really?
Yes and no. And the reason why I don't always we don't use the term mentor specifically is that all of our programs are group-based, right? It's not a one-on-one relationship. So in some ways you could call it group mentoring, except it's really an exchange. It's really two-way. I mean, the knowledge partners come in willing to share their skills, but the truth is they learn so much from the social venture partners about the spaces, the causes, and they learn from each other as well and develop new networks and relationships. So it's one big group session that supports each other.
And one of the things that I have often wondered, and I've asked this from many people, is that what's in it for the knowledge partner for them to give so much time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's three key sort of benefits, I'd say, that the knowledge partners really take away from this. I mean, the obvious one is this gift of paying it forward and being able to share this knowledge that they know they have, everybody has, and just being able to kind of use it and give that to others is just really rewarding. But secondly, I alluded to this earlier, it's such a great way to learn about a new space, a new social venture. They may have been really busy in their careers for a while, have sort of a latent interest in a space. How do you learn about it without watching webinars? You know, this is a way to kind of roll up your sleeves and learn by doing. So it's just a great way to learn by doing. But then really the third way is also, it's a wonderful way to meet a set of peers, a new set of peers outside of your normal networks who are joined by their interest in specific causes. And again, it's a global network of peers. And so you really meet a lot of new constituents through just the 90 minutes that you give.
Amazing. The other challenge that I have often seen, and I've been, not a knowledge partner, but a mentor in several organizations, is the accountability part. How does one, or how does kin hold a knowledge partner and the social venture partner accountable for what they're committing to do?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, what we do is at the end of every session, for instance, we do ask everybody to make a pledge that we record and share. And then we follow up with both parties, right? We follow up with the social ventures. Did you act on some of these concepts that were shared or ideas and connections? We follow up with the knowledge partners, and we follow up at a regular cadence, 6 weeks, 6 months, a year later. Oftentimes, if people don't respond initially, it's because they've been busy, things happen, and they just need that reminder. And so kin is part of that sort of process of following up and sharing the outcomes, on both sides.
And you mentioned that you're doing something in the Middle East. Is kin a global organization now?
Yes. We are serving social ventures and have knowledge partners around the world.
Very interesting. My next question is on technology. Given such a vast network of knowledge partners and social ventures, how are you using the new technologies that are available to support such amazing networks?
Yeah, so we're in the process. We're very fortunate to have a number of advisors involved in sort of the AI for good movement. And so we're in the process of constantly exploring every year or two. There are newer and more powerful technologies out there to help us refine our ability to do the matching. So I'd say it's an ongoing process for us to leverage technology to help us do this better, faster.
Amazing. And if you could also talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges social enterprises face, which you address with the knowledge partners.
Sure. I'd say they tend to fall into three general buckets. First, the type of challenge is oftentimes who do we partner with to grow? Secondly, how do we build awareness and communicate our value? Third, how do we grow and diversify our revenue sources? So I'd say oftentimes, more often than not, the types of challenges they have fall into those three buckets: revenue, partners, and sort of awareness building, communication.
Interesting. So I have time for two more questions, Elaine. My next question is that, there are so many different networks around the world. What is KIN doing differently?
Yeah. So I think there are four different ways that we're unique in what we do and what we offer. The first, again, our knowledge partners are predominantly C-suite, senior level executives or leaders. They could be in government or law or other disciplines as well, but they're generally senior level leaders with seasoned experience, contacts, and connections that they're willing to make and help move the needle on a particular issue. Secondly, along those lines, our program is designed for them, right? Our programming are designed for busy people where they only need to dedicate a short amount of time. It's on a multi-month project with a very structured set of regimented outputs, so it can fit in their daily schedule. I'd like to say, look, if people say they want to give back and don't know how, you can't honestly say that and say you don't have 90 minutes over lunch to do something. Third, we're inclusive. So we're not a membership organization where you need to either pay a fee or have some sort of credential from a school. We're really an inclusive network of networks bringing together, again, leaders from different areas. So we're really focused on delivering impact. And then fourth, I alluded to this earlier, we're group-based. So it's sort of an opportunity to meet other peers that you normally would not have met in other industries and other organizations and other countries. So we're really expanding your network. So it's not just a simple one-to-one model. So you really gain new connections and diverse leadership networks from doing our work.
And how does one become a knowledge partner? Is it right to
Sure.
write into through your website?
They could do it right through our website. It's that easy. If they don't, have any other means, you just go to www.knowledgeimpactnetwork.org, and there's a link to engage, which we encourage everybody to do.
And then someone will probably reach out to the individuals and have a small interview or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it. And my last question to you, Elaine, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to us. I'm sure there'll be lots of potential knowledge partners, but definitely very, very large number of social enterprise people who listen to our conversations. Based on your own amazing journey and all the great work you're doing for the Knowledge Impact Network or KIN, what would you say are 3 lessons you would want our viewers and listeners to take away?
Yeah. The first, just starting off with my journey discussion, it's never too late to give back. People are busy and life is a journey, as you pointed out. So there could be different stages in life where you can give back. Second, it's just really easy to leverage your knowledge for the good of others. And that's really the premise of what we do. But thirdly, I've watched some of your other podcasts as well as you talked with sustainability leaders. And, there's the concept of really thinking about sustainability as a mind shift. And what I would like to impart is, can you think of knowledge as a sustainable asset? How can you every day take what you know and give back with it and reuse it, repurpose it, recycle it, regenerate it? So if you have that mindset as well as avoiding the plastics and all the other pieces like that, I think we'd be in such an amazing place. Our world would be so much smaller if there was a more fluid exchange of knowledge for good.
Correct. Well said. And on that note, Elaine, and your 3 amazing lessons, it's never too late to give back, leverage your knowledge for good. And third one, which is so powerful, how can we consider knowledge being a sustainable asset? It's only in the mind. It's a mindset issue. Thank you so much for speaking to me about Knowledge Impact Network, which is KIN. Thank you for talking to me about your own journey, about all the great work you and your knowledge partners are doing for so many social ventures around. Thank you again for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.